In Portuguese, you can put things above other things, and you can put things under other things. You can even, if you are feeling especially adventurous, put things to the right and to the left of other things. But to do all this, you need position words. To help explain them, I decided to blow my budget with the creation of exclusive characters. Meet Mr. Square, the enigmatic accountant, Mr. Circle, the baker with a dark past and a heart of gold, and Mr. Triangle, the village idiot. O Senhor Quadrado está à direita do Senhor Círculo. O Senhor Círculo está à esquerda do Senhor Quadrado. Mr. Square is to the right of Mr. Circle. Mr. Circle is to the left of Mr. Square. With this example, we could also say o Senhor Quadrado está ao lado do Senhor Círculo. Mr. Square is next to Mr. Circle, or vice versa. Or even, o Senhor Quadrado e o Senhor Círculo estão ao lado do outro. Mr. Square and Mr. Circle are next to each other. Now something dramatic has happened. Enter Mr. Triangle, who by some unknown means has reached an enviable position. O Senhor Triângulo está por cima do Senhor Quadrado. O Senhor Quadrado está por baixo do Senhor Triângulo. Mr. Triangle is above Mr. Square. Mr. Square is below Mr. Triangle. Suddenly, gravity decides to manifest itself, and we have a subtle yet very relevant change. O Senhor Triângulo está em cima do Senhor Quadrado. O Senhor Quadrado está embaixo, debaixo do Senhor Triângulo. Mr. Triangle is on top of Mr. Square. Mr. Square is under Mr. Triangle. Mr. Square is not happy with this, and he decides to change things a bit. O Senhor Quadrado está à frente do Senhor Triângulo. O Senhor Triângulo está atrás do Senhor Quadrado. Mr. Square is in front of Mr. Triangle. Mr. Triangle is behind Mr. Square. While all this happens, Mr. Circle is watching from the side with a puzzled expression. O Senhor Círculo está longe do Senhor Quadrado, mas o Senhor Triângulo está perto do Senhor Quadrado. Demasiado perto. Mr. Circle is far from Mr. Square, but Mr. Triangle is close to Mr. Square. Too close. It was getting uncomfortable, so Mr. Triangle has decided to move away from Mr. Square. And if we look at the current positions of the characters in this exciting drama, o Senhor Quadrado está entre o Senhor Triângulo e o Senhor Círculo. Mr. Square is between Mr. Triangle and Mr. Circle. But wait! It doesn't stop there. I hope this doesn't change the rating of the video to mature, but suddenly Mr. Circle is dominated by a jealous rage and o Senhor Círculo está dentro do Senhor Quadrado. O Senhor Triângulo está fora do Senhor Quadrado. Mr. Circle is inside Mr. Square. Mr. Triangle is outside Mr. Square. And just when you thought things couldn't get any stranger, o Senhor Triângulo e o Senhor Círculo estão à volta do Senhor Quadrado. Mr. Triangle and Mr. Circle are around Mr. Square. I hope this was useful and now you know all these position words in Portuguese. The massive production values have left me bankrupt, but I'll do anything for you. Por favor, vejam os links por baixo deste vídeo, apoiem-me no Patreon, marquem uma aula no italki e comprem o livro que fiz especialmente para quem aprende português. Ugh. Ugh. Hey,